Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to welcome you all today. We'll be exploring an important topic, current good manufacturing practices, or cGMP, for finished pharmaceuticals. This is the second part of our series. I'm Dr. S.K. Singh, and I'll be guiding you through this presentation. Over the course of our time together, we'll cover key aspects of cGMP that ensure the quality and safety of pharmaceuticals. So, let's get started and dive into this essential subject. Let's start with the general requirements we need to keep in mind. First, we must have detailed written procedures for each critical step in our process. This includes receipt, identification, storage, handling, sampling, testing, and ultimately approval or rejection of materials. It's essential that these procedures are clear and consistently followed to ensure quality and compliance. Moving on to contamination prevention, it's crucial that all components, containers, and closures are handled and stored properly. This means implementing practices that prevent any form of contamination, safeguarding the integrity of our products from the very beginning. Finally, controlling components and drug products, especially containers and closures, is vital. Proper control measures help us maintain quality, prevent mix-ups, and ensure that everything remains in compliance with regulatory standards. Connecting all these points back to our overall theme, it's about establishing a robust system that guarantees safety, quality, and consistency throughout the manufacturing process. Let's talk about proper storage practices. It's essential that bagged or boxed materials are stored off the floor. This helps prevent contamination and damage. Additionally, spacing the materials properly allows for easy cleaning and inspection, which keeps everything organized and safe. Moving on to lot identification and status, each container or group of containers must have a unique lot code for every shipment. This code is crucial because it helps us track and record the disposition of each lot, whether it's approved, quarantined, or rejected. It's important that each lot is clearly marked with its status. Clear labeling ensures quick identification and helps maintain control over components and drug products throughout the process. Remember, controlling containers and closures isn't just about storage. It's about ensuring quality and traceability at every step. This overall approach supports our commitment to safety and compliance in our operations. When new materials arrive, it's crucial to keep them separate or quarantined until they've been tested and approved for use. This helps prevent any unverified or potentially contaminated materials from entering our production process. Containers should always have clear labels or codes indicating whether they're waiting for testing, approved, or rejected. Maintaining organized storage areas that are clean and free from clutter is essential to prevent damage or contamination of the materials. Once the materials are received, we need to take samples from each batch in a scientific and representative way. This means sampling enough to accurately reflect the entire lot so we can make informed decisions about their quality. Before using any batch, it must be tested or examined thoroughly. For active ingredients, the manufacturer should perform an identity test to confirm what they claim it is. For other ingredients or packaging, a certificate of analysis, or COA, from a trusted supplier can be used as proof of quality. However, it's important that we also qualify our suppliers, meaning we regularly check their reliability and consistency. We should keep copies of all COAs and test results for documentation and future reference. If any materials fail the tests, they must be rejected immediately. These rejected materials should be kept separate until they are either destroyed, returned, or retested with a valid reason. This process ensures that only quality materials are used, which ultimately supports the integrity of our entire production and the safety of our final products. Let's talk about the materials we use in manufacturing. It's crucial that we only use materials that have been tested and approved. This ensures quality and safety in our final product. To keep track, we should have a system in place, like color-coded labels or barcodes, to clearly show the status of each material and prevent us from accidentally using unapproved lots. We also need to follow a first-in, first-out system, or FIFO, to make sure materials stay fresh and are used in the order they arrive. This helps maintain their quality over time. When it comes to stored materials, if they're kept for a long period, they need to be retested or rechecked. This step confirms they still meet our quality standards before we use them again. Rejected materials require special handling. They must be clearly marked and stored separately from approved materials. We also need documented procedures for dealing with these rejects, such as destroying, returning, or reevaluating them, but only if approved by QC. Now, regarding drug product containers and closures, these are vital for protecting the product. They must guard against contamination, moisture, or any loss of quality. The materials used should not react with the drug or alter its properties. For sterile drugs, it's especially important that containers and closures are sterilized and handled aseptically to keep them germ-free. Additionally, we need clear specifications, covering aspects like material, size, cleanliness, and sealing, and proper records to demonstrate compliance with these standards. All these points come together to ensure that every step in handling materials upholds our commitment to quality and safety throughout the manufacturing process. In this section, I will explain how drugs must be made step by step to ensure that every batch meets the highest quality and safety standards. First, let's talk about written procedures and deviations. Every manufacturing step has to follow specific written and approved procedures, known as SOPs. These SOPs detail exactly how to make, test, and handle the drug product. If there are any changes or deviations from these procedures, they must be documented, explained, and approved by the quality control unit. The main goal here is to make sure that every batch is produced consistently and correctly, maintaining the integrity of the drug. Now, moving on to the charging of components. This term means adding ingredients into the mixing or manufacturing system. It's crucial that trained personnel handle this task, and that the addition is checked by a second person or verified through validated automated systems. Labels on containers must be checked carefully to confirm that the right materials and amounts are being used. Records are also very important. They should include the name and lot number of each component, the amount added, the date and time, and the names or signatures of both the person adding the ingredients and the person verifying it. Finally, let's touch on production and process controls. These controls help us monitor and manage the manufacturing process, ensuring everything stays within set parameters. By doing this, we can catch and correct issues early, maintaining quality at every step. All these points connect back to the overall goal, making sure every batch is made consistently, safely, and to the highest standards. Now, let's talk about time limitations on production. If there are specific time limits for steps like mixing, drying, or holding, it's essential that these are clearly written down and justified. This helps ensure everyone understands the importance of sticking to these limits. If a batch exceeds the allotted time, we need to evaluate it carefully to confirm that it's still acceptable for use. This is crucial because longer delays can lead to product degradation or microbial growth, which we definitely want to avoid. Next, let's focus on calculating yield. The theoretical yield is what we expect to get if everything goes perfectly. Think of it as our ideal scenario. The actual yield, on the other hand, is what we actually produce. The difference between these two, what we call yield variation, is something we need to check and ensure it's within acceptable limits. It's important to do yield calculations at each major processing stage as well as at the end of the process. And of course, our quality control team must review and approve all these calculations to catch any mistakes or unexpected losses. Finally, reprocessing is a key part of maintaining quality. Reprocessing means repeating certain steps on a batch that's been rejected or is unfinished to correct any issues. However, it can only be done if there are written procedures in place, the QC unit approves it, and the product still meets all specifications after reprocessing. Every reworked batch must be carefully evaluated and documented to ensure it remains safe and of high quality. Keeping these principles in mind helps us maintain consistency and trust in our manufacturing process. Now, let's talk about equipment identification. It's crucial that all major pieces of equipment like mixers, blenders, tanks, and others are clearly labeled. This means including the name of the equipment, its current status, whether it's clean, in use, or needs cleaning, and the product or batch currently being processed. This simple step helps us prevent mix-ups and contamination between different products or batches, which is vital for maintaining quality and safety. Next, let's look at sampling and testing of in-process materials and drug products. During production, we need to take samples at various stages and test them to ensure the process is running correctly. These tests might include checking weight variation, pH, moisture content, blend uniformity, and dissolution. The results from these tests are essential because they help us make adjustments or control the process to keep everything within specifications. It's also important to have a written sampling plan that clearly describes when, where, and how to take samples, how much to collect, and what acceptance criteria to use. This plan ensures consistency and reliability in sampling procedures. And of course, before we proceed with the next steps in production, our quality control team must review and approve these results. This step helps us verify that everything meets quality standards before moving forward. When it comes to non-sterile drugs, the key point is that procedures must be in place to prevent microbial contamination throughout the production process. This means that every step should be carefully controlled to avoid introducing microbes. Additionally, the equipment and the production areas themselves need to be kept clean and properly maintained. This cleanliness is essential to control the levels of microbes and ensure the safety and quality of the final product. Now, for sterile drugs, the approach is a bit more stringent. There must be detailed written procedures for all aspects of aseptic processing, sterilization, and handling. These procedures are the backbone of maintaining sterility. It's also crucial that sterilization methods are validated, meaning they've been thoroughly tested and proven effective before use. Environmental monitoring plays a vital role here. Monitoring the air, surfaces, and personnel helps us ensure that the environment remains sterile. Regular monitoring allows us to detect any potential contamination early and take corrective actions. Overall, controlling microbiological contamination is about implementing rigorous procedures, maintaining a clean environment, validating sterilization processes, and continuously monitoring to uphold the highest standards of safety and quality. Let's take a closer look at the materials examination and usage criteria. First, it's crucial that all labels, packaging, and printed materials are thoroughly checked before they are used. This helps us ensure accuracy and compliance from the very beginning. Written procedures should clearly outline how to receive, identify, store, handle, and examine these materials. Having these steps documented keeps everyone on the same page and helps maintain quality standards. It's important that labels and printed materials come from approved suppliers and meet our specified requirements. Only approved materials should be issued for use. Before using any packaging or labeling materials, we need to inspect them carefully for accuracy. This includes verifying the name, strength, lot number, expiration date, and other critical details. If we find outdated or incorrect labels, they must be destroyed immediately to prevent any mistakes. Additionally, a line clearance must be performed before starting packaging. This means all materials from the previous batch should be removed to avoid any mix-ups or cross-contamination. By following these controls, we help ensure that our packaging and labeling processes are reliable, accurate, and compliant with safety standards. Let's take a closer look at labeling issuance. It's essential that all labels are issued and controlled by the Quality Control or QC unit. This ensures strict accountability, meaning we need to keep detailed records of how many labels are issued, how many are used, and how many are returned. Any extra labels that are not used must be destroyed to prevent misuse. It's also important to keep excess labels under control and to reconcile them regularly. If we're using electronic labeling systems or automated equipment, these must be validated for accuracy to ensure everything is precise and reliable. When it comes to batch packaging records, They should include specific details such as the label type and version used, control numbers, and the date along with the initials of the personnel responsible for issuing and checking the labels. This level of detail helps maintain traceability and accountability throughout the process. Now, moving on to packaging and labeling operations. They must have written procedures for each step. These procedures should cover line clearance before starting a new batch, verifying that the correct labels, materials, and products are being used, and inspecting the packaging during the process to ensure proper labeling. Each package must clearly display key information: the product name, strength, dosage form, lot number, and expiration date. This is critical for product identification and safety. Finally, for cut labels, especially if they're not pre-printed on a continuous roll or web, there need to be strict checks to prevent mix-ups or the loss of labels. Any returned, damaged, or unused labels must be properly accounted for and destroyed to maintain control and prevent errors. Overall, these controls are vital to ensure the integrity, safety, and traceability of our packaging and labeling processes. Let's talk about tamper-evident packaging for OTC human drugs. It's essential that over-the-counter drugs meant for retail have tamper-evident features. These features include one or more indicators or barriers that provide visible proof if the package has been opened. The key here is that these indicators need to be distinctive and difficult to duplicate, ensuring they can't easily be tampered with or faked. Additionally, the label must clearly describe the tamper-evident feature, like statting, "Do not use if seal under cap is broken or missing." This clarity helps consumers understand what to look for and enhances safety. Overall, these measures help protect consumers from potential tampering and ensure product integrity. Now, moving on to packaging and labeling system checks. After a product is packaged, we need to examine samples to confirm that everything is correct. This includes checking the integrity of the container closures, making sure the labels are accurate and properly printed, and verifying that the seals and coating are intact and correct. Typically, samples are taken from each packaging line and batch to ensure consistency. These checks are crucial because they help us catch any issues early. The results must be recorded and approved by quality control before the products are released. In essence, thorough packaging and labeling verification is a vital part of maintaining quality and safety throughout the manufacturing process, aligning with our overall goal of safeguarding consumer health. Let's talk about warehousing procedures. It's essential to have written procedures, or SOPs, that clearly outline how finished drug products are stored. This helps maintain consistency and quality. Storage areas need to be kept clean and organized. This isn't just about tidiness, it's about preventing contamination and mix-ups. The environment must also be properly controlled, meaning temperature, humidity, and light levels should be maintained within specified ranges to protect the products. Monitoring these conditions is critical. We record temperature logs or set alarms for climate-controlled areas to ensure ongoing compliance. If any drugs require special storage conditions, like refrigeration or light protection, those requirements must be strictly followed and documented. Additionally, any returned goods that are awaiting evaluation should be kept separate from approved inventory. This separation prevents mix-ups and ensures that only properly verified products are distributed. Now, moving on to holding and distribution. It's all about making sure that once products are stored correctly, they are distributed properly, maintaining their integrity and safety throughout the process. Let's talk about distribution procedures. It's essential that written procedures clearly outline how finished drug products are distributed. This helps ensure consistency and compliance across the board. Distribution systems must guarantee that only approved and released batches are sent to the market. This is a critical control point to maintain product integrity and patient safety. When it comes to records, they should include key details like the product name and strength, the lot or control number, the quantity shipped, the date it was shipped, and the name and address of the consignee, whether that's a customer, distributor, or other authorized entity. It's important that these records are kept for a sufficient amount of time, long enough to allow for a full recall if necessary. This helps us quickly trace and manage any issues that might arise down the line. Additionally, if there are special handling or storage requirements during shipping, such as cold chain conditions, those must be strictly followed to preserve product quality. Products should only be shipped to authorized recipients, like licensed wholesalers, pharmacies, or hospitals, to prevent diversion or misuse. Finally, having a robust system in place to trace and recall any defective or suspect lots quickly and effectively is vital. It's all about protecting patients and maintaining trust in our products and processes. And with that, we come to the end of this segment. But don't worry, this topic is far from finished. We'll be continuing in the next video, where we'll dive even deeper into these concepts. So stay tuned because there's much more to explore. Remember, understanding these key points is crucial for grasping the bigger picture of our overall theme. Thanks for your attention, and I look forward to picking up where we left off soon. For further support, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're here to help and provide any additional information you might need. Feel free to contact us at any time. And with that, I want to sincerely thank you all for your attention and engagement throughout this presentation. Your participation is truly appreciated.